Well, it begins. Let's see how lucky I get with the two banners on at the same time, both with stuff that I want. I'm still mad about Sparkle's banner being on at this exact moment, but if I can get them both, I'm golden. I don't think I'm gonna though, and this boy has to be the priority. That's no 5-star. Double hook though, which is alright, sure, I guess. Not my expectation, but sure. Come on, boy. Do me good. I'm on a little bit of pity, not enough, clearly. So I'm on around about, I think, 30 pity. So now I'm 50 in. I was just under 30 pulls on. Nope. Please don't take me to hard. That'd be mean. Nope. Come on. I'm praying here. Fox, please. You're being mean now. There it is. Come on, 50-50. Come on, 50-50. Otherwise, I have to use a guarantee, and that really will suck. Yeah, I know it's gonna be a 5-star. Please be the... Yeah! Okay. We're on. Come on, Sparkle. No, I'm not trying for the light cone. It's just not happening. Okay. Now, let's see how much of a bitch she wants to be. Oh, come on. Nope. Nope. No. The 4 stars are atrocious, I'm not even gonna lie. This woman. Okay. Come on. Come on. Be the best you can be. Give me Ruan May look again, that was stupid. Come on. Please. You're disappointing. Come on. Yeah! Never punished. Alright. Hey, the last one of that as well. I got my R5 finally. That took way too long. I'm still missing one of the key light cones I need, which is super annoying. But hey, victory! No chance in hell. As much as I'd like to, there's 0 chance. And I can finally use Down Hung optimally, since I obviously didn't have Sparkle until now, so I couldn't use Imbiber to Lunae properly without having to use co-op characters. I'm really happy about that. I do have to do more farming for Sparkle because I didn't have the chance to finish up because I didn't think I was gonna get her. I prepared a little bit. I couldn't prepare thoroughly because, you know, the odds just weren't in my favor.
Living? That's all a big hustle and bustle. But life's all about savoring the moment.
I found a home to protect.
I just don't like having notifications for it.
Hooks ready to find the next treasure.
It's like, eventually, I'm gonna get a second one of these. I have no reason to get the passes right now. There's a very real chance I could get a 5-star from this. I don't think I will, but I could. Okay, never mind. Sure. Hi, Bronya. Well, that happened. Couldn't be your light cone, which I would actually really use. I'm not going to complain. After all, you're the best hit option from this. 50% chance of recovering a skill point. That's actually a really good eidolon. So yeah, that's that. This went so much better than I thought it would. This went so much better than I thought it would. Oh my god. Our boy. Robin, I'm looking forward to putting you on an actual team you're meant to be on. Eventually I can sort Dan Hung as well. Like, I'm probably gonna sort... I'll sort the farming of, bloody Sparkle really soon, if anything, so I don't have to worry too much about adding Renelli. So there's this team done. And, yeah, Well is not meant to even be in here. He's just placeholding for Sparkle. And there we go. That's 2 of my teams fixed. I just need to level. But yeah, here's where Robin will end up being used. I just need to sort ratio more. Well, let's go through the character story stuff, because that's fun. I'm so thrilled, man. I won. I can't even complain. Not even remotely. So, let's be nosy. A Foxian healer and counselor from the Jiaoqiu often greets people with a smile on his face and a scheme in his heart. Born into a prestigious alchemy commission family, he once withdrew from practicing medicine due to a broken heart. However, he returned to the field to treat the Merlin's Claw, General Fei Xiao. Skilled in the study of alchemical prescription that views food as a medicine, especially those that induce a sensation of spiciness, they invented a cauldron-based medicinal formula known as the 9 square grid. We knew about this. Rinsaw Lake, the Yaoxing. In the misty rain, yellow floating heart foliage and blossoms decorated the lake as frolicking fishes leaped out of the water from time to time. At this lakeside abounds with lotuses and water chestnuts. Old turtles basking on the pebbles were an everyday sight. A Foxian youth with a basket for storing harvested ingredients on his back rowed a small boat, raindrops running down his ears before being lightly flicked away. As he scooped up floating heart plants and picked out lotus flowers, he peeled open wide rice stems and threw them casually into his mouth. So sweet and refreshing, it delights the palate. After harvesting the plants, he steered the boat to shore and crossed the lakeside with graceful ease before changing into the attire of a healer. Inside the apothecary, misty steam hung in the air as tantalizing aromas filled the premises. Your pulse has become more stable since you last visited, but you should still work on getting more rest and nourishing your body. Care to try one of my new medicines? With a smile, he puts away the wrist cushion and golden needles, bringing out a whole new set of medicinal tools. Well, medical tools. As the elderly man gazed at the 9-squared cauldron in front of him, he couldn't help but break into a wry smile. Others can hardly even invent a few decent medicines in their lifetime, yet a single day is all you need to achieve that and more. You flatter me, master. This cauldron-based medicinal formula is called the 9-squared grid. Not only is it simple to make, but its effects are also wondrous. The youth poured out the ingredients from his basket, cleaning them quickly before slicing them. As he did, the stock inside the cauldron began to bubble and boil. A tale of euphorbia, 3 mace of bitterwood, and 4 cache of desert cistache. Boil with big bones, then pair with deep shellfish to dispel the bitter flavour. The concoction can aid one in achieving peaceful slumber. As for the white loach and threadfin snapper, their constitution warming properties are great for nourishing the chi and blood, We need only dip the slices in boiling water for 2 to 3 seconds. The green mushrooms, silver needle tea leaves, and snow lotus roots were all carefully cultivated with decoration dregs by me at Rainsaw Lake. Not only are they tasty and refreshing, but they offer medicinal benefits. As glistening fish slices met boiling soup, both master and disciple enjoyed a delicious meal that quickly made them forget about the damp coldness of the rainy day. In the aftermath of the meal, the older man put down his chopsticks, seemingly having realised something. This meal I've just had, the 9-squared grid. It seems there is more you wish to tell me with this meal than what I'd thought. The youth stood up solemnly and bowed. Master, you are perceptive indeed. I have long since made up my mind about whether to join the Alchemy Commission. While the Alchemy Commission is a good place to be, it is ultimately not compatible with my wish to practice medicine for the masses. The one place that requires a healer the most is undeniably the battlefield, where the Yaoxing's forces are. Among the many schools of healer, only practitioners of the Ranji school, such as you and me, place emphasis on the tenet of food as medicine, using the joy of food to alleviate the pain of ailments. The 9-squared grid, with its convenience and effectiveness in dispelling the cold that ails one's constitution, was specifically made by me to provide succor to those on the battlefield. For those who yet breathe, there is nothing more important than the preservation of life. If I could deliver the people from pain and suffering with a mere medicinal formula, the Alchemy Commission's time and effort spent in grooming my talents would be well spent indeed. The elder looked as though he wanted to talk the youth out of his decision, but he ultimately decided against it. The battlefield is a bitterly cold place. Don't forget to bring more food that warms the constitution ere you depart. The Yaoxing's troops perennially fought on the outer planets. He continued to improve the Cauldron-based medicinal formula in a multitude of ways so that he could adapt it to the increasingly challenging, complex, and unpredictable environments that the soldiers must brave. The unusual yet profoundly effective formulation his medicine came in soon made his name a common utterance across the forces of the Yaoxing, winning him the trust of officers and soldiers alike. Such achievements nevertheless failed to assuage his heavy heart. Every day, when the bugle call for departure sounded, he knew the wounded that he had nursed back to health would have to step onto the battlefield once more. Every day, when he heard the footsteps of returning troops, he knew he would be missing a few more familiar faces among those that had gathered around his cauldron. Just recently, even the soldier who'd always returned to camp, yelling about wanting to eat from the cauldron, had departed this world for good. He finished up the day's consultation and left the field hospital, letting out a long sigh. The cold did not bother him in the slightest, even with the snow flurries pelting at him. When the bugle call sounded yet again, the army was equipped and ready to depart. The field hospital will soon be burdened with grievously wounded soldiers like before. Yes, he had the skills to bring the wounded back from the gates of hell, but these young lives still end up lost in the endless, ravenous war. Every night he would talk with General how the hell? I'm not gonna try. With the general. This day, however, he was uncharacteristically silent for a long time. Recently, I have been thinking, if the patients that I nursed back to health are destined to hurtle towards death once more, what is my purpose as a healer? A dull cry sounded from the direction of the wards. It was only after blinking several times that he realized both his eyes had gone dry, probably since some time ago. So dry that he no longer had tears to shred. It was time, once again, for the army to move out. However grisly bodies of the dead, the perpetually high death rate, ongoing blasts of artillery fire, and a monstrous creature that had appeared in the air were all portents that heralded a devastating war unlike anything that had ever occurred before, until one day, when the towering Cloud-Peer telescope that bore the wills of trillions of living beings across the Xianzhou finally received a response from them. A searing blast appeared out of nowhere, obliterating the weak abominations of abundance into a miasma of blood. A light so blindingly bright that it tore the sky dome asunder. Even mountains and hills that the light reached turned to dust. He saw the abominations of abundance and members of the Xianzhou Legion that were slow to retreat crumble to dust. He heard how about the girl always by the general's side, weaved in and out of the annihilated enemy ranks, attempted to bring the remaining soldiers back with her. Before the wave of light could reach them, he dashed in with every ounce of his strength to save that young lady before losing his consciousness in the afterglow of the obliterating light. Tattered banners thrashed in the wind as the few remaining survivors gathered around the bonfire in silence. Clank, clank, clank. A strong gust of wind swept across, rolling a battered cauldron along the barren ground. His body should have long acclimated to the frigid cold climate given by the time he had spent stationed on this planet, but he had never felt this cold before. He was cold from the inside out. In a seasoned manner, he picked up the iron receptacle, filled it with water, and brought it to a boil before throwing in scraps of leftover ingredients. It's still so cold. The survivors ate their food in silence. Maybe I should add some spice. With that, he retrieved the medicinal pouch he always carried with him. Not spicy enough. He added more chili peppers to the mix. Not there yet. He emptied every spice he had on him into the cauldron. That's it. As oil from the chili bubbled, he picked up a herb from the cauldron to taste. When his already numbed sense of taste had finally picked up on the spice, a jolt of current ran through him. He felt alive for the first time. It was a sensation that bordered on pain. Rin saw Lake the Yaoxing. In the misty rain, yellow floating heart foliage blossoms decorated the lake as frolicking fishes leapt out of the water from time to time. At this lakeside abound with lotuses and water chestnuts, old turtles basking on pebbles were an everyday sight. With a herb basket on his back, he rowed a small boat onto the middle of the lake as the falling rain slid down the back of his ears, soaking his clothing wet. Scooping up floating heart plants, picking out lotus flowers, and peeling open wide rice shoots, sending them all into his mouth to taste. Ugh, too bland. Mister, there's an elderly man looking for you over at the restaurant. He claimed to be an old friend of yours. A disciple called out from the other side of the lake, to which he sighed and rowed his boat back to shore. He is of course aware of the visitor's intention. He had long grown weary of his old profession as a healer. Master, are you here today to try out the dishes cooked with Rainsaw's Eatery's cauldron? I must warn you though, we only serve very spicy and insanely spicy food here. The elderly man sighed from his seat at the table. I remember you preferred bland food before joining the army. As he readied the cauldron, a glimmer of nostalgia flashed across his eyes. People tend to change. The elder picked up a slice of threadfin snapper, scalding it in the bubbling red broth. I should try it then. But know that I did not come for that. Do you remember the girl you saved? Fishao, that's her name. The girl that followed the former general everywhere. Let's go! She has since assumed the role of General Yaoxing and now requires a healer by her side. There's no one more suitable for that position than you. He smiled wryly, for some reason recalling the sharp pain he felt on his tongue that fateful day. Those I saved only ended up as another dead soul when they dived head in back into the battlefield. I prefer to no longer engage in such futile efforts. The elder placed his chopsticks down and shook his head. You misunderstand me. This time I'm not here to persuade you to heal the masses in the world. I'm here because I want this general to heal your despondent heart. She will tell you what the true purpose of a healer is. Oh, hey, let's go.
It's nice to meet you. I am Jiaoqiu, the Yao Qing's military healer, under the command of Fei Xiao, the Merlin's Claw. I suppose I'm also her advisor. What should you call me? Jiao for short? Or Cho, perhaps? I guess we're only saving ourselves one syllable either way. Why are you getting so skinny these days? Shall we eat to live or live to eat? I know. Let's go for some hot pot. What? Not even a farewell dinner? Don't worry. I promise next time the hot pot won't be too spicy. Though my medical expertise is derived from the culinary Ranjou tradition, it has become a discipline in its own right. After all, the Yao Qing's traditional culinary medicine didn't make use of tools such as the 9-square grid. No matter how many times I say it, people always forget. Cooking is medicine, and making medicine is cooking. Using food to treat the sick is my specialty. As the saying goes, a chef who doesn't want to be a healer isn't worth his salt. Or pepper, for that matter. Attacking with fire will allow you to break camp. An intelligent move. Attacking with water will allow you to consolidate. A strong tactic. With fire and water together, the enemy will be turned to stew. Much
God.
like the one bubbling in front of us. There are 4 things I won't eat. I don't eat plain soup because it's boring. I don't eat anything lacking spice because it's uninteresting. I don't eat yuanyang hot pot because it's impure. And I don't eat coriander because it's bad for the stomach. But of course, if someone else is treating me to a meal, I can make an exception.
Hey.
I've never had any hobbies in my life besides spicy food. When I eat spicy food, I feel not only pain, but also joy and comfort. It makes me feel like I'm still alive.
Oh.
Bandit in life. Death in vain. Fox in shadow. Rabbit in plain. Mighty reigns. Justice wanes. Epochs of heroes' blood in our veins. Never mind any of that. I was just talking to myself. There are many ways to cook hot pot, but I've always thought that chili peppers were the essential ingredient. A mouthful of spicy goodness, that's what satisfies. If it were not for this, life would have no flavor at all. In the not-too-distant ancient times, people didn't care much about their own lives, let alone the lives of others. The history behind the idea that life is precious, in fact, is very short. General Fei Xiao is my benefactor and patient. A doctor's life belongs to his patient. I cannot leave this world before she's cured.
Cute.
My duty is to heal the general, and Moza's duty is to suppress her eagerness. That's why I'm in charge of cooking and medicine, and Moza handles all the dirty work. You see? Neither of us can slack off. Huh. How much of that smile of his is genuine? How much of it is hiding something? Every time I see him, I can't help but wonder. Of course, this isn't his problem. It's mine. In the entire alliance, Hua Yan is the most inscrutable of the generals.
Let's go. Great
I've
old
worked
man.
with him on more than a few occasions, but I can never seem to figure him out. When I first met Su Shao, she was still in Su Yi's arms, sucking her thumb.
That's super cute.
It feels like it was just yesterday when I was helping her skip classes and being scolded by Su Yi. I'm getting old.
So that's why. Oh, Su Shang appears in his trailer because of this. That's super cute. I love that. That's a great little detail to learn.
I didn't expect to see someone his age still using a sword as a toy. From generation to generation, it seems some things never change. Miss Yun Li may be the second youngest member of the Flame Wheel Octet, but she is no less a swordmaster than the other 7. Some might suspect her of benefiting from her connection to Huayan, but she could not have endured such rigor and refinement if she were not a valuable talent in her own right. Anyone who says the Master Diviner is eccentric should pay a visit to her homeworld, the Xianzhou Yuchue.
Okay, we get to learn about this ship.
That's the heartland of the followers of the Wisdom Walker. I'm guessing every conversation on the Yuchue is some permutation of he knows that you know that I know that he knows.
God.
Like Helmmaster Yukong after the war 30 years ago. I've grown weary of fighting.
Aww.
I hope that she actually enjoys the art of medicine, and that it's not just a responsibility imposed on her. But that seems to be a predicament most Vidyadhara have to grapple with. Head of the Alchemy Commission is not a position that can be filled with just a handful of good medical skills. Even with the right skills, filling the position and holding it are two entirely different matters.
Valid.
Wei Nai Fen might not realize it, but by living her life like a roaring fire, she also illuminates the lives of others. Like the little flame under a hot pot.
Hey.
Those two sisters epitomize the failures of the Xianzhou Alliance. No one can live well, and no one can die well. If even death is a luxury, then what kind of monsters have we become?
That's rough, alright.
To merely be alive is still not spicy enough. A familiar sense of security. To merely be alive is not the goal. I hope that with your skills, we'll get out of this in one piece. Right?
Let's go. Sure.
Never imagined that in this life, I would be fighting alongside the divine foresight himself.
Fair.
Such a great ancestral treasure is wielded by your hands. Impressive, Sushang.
Aww.
Safety first, Yanqing.
Ha!
If anything happens to you, I'll never be able to face
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Miss Yun Li, it's dangerous here. Just keep your distance, all right? I'm gonna call your grandfather over.
Making a behave fair.
Dragon lady, here's some candy for you. Keep it safe and keep it secret.
Hey! Viola deserves spoiling. Let's go. But yeah, I won today. What do I even say? Let's bloody go. Now I have to farm. Best of luck to the rest of you on this banners. On whatever banner that's currently up you pull on. I have no complaints. I now get to save for Sunday eventually, hopefully coming up. Or for whatever other character they potentially introduce. Lingsha's probably going to have to be a skip for me because I have to be realistic. I'm going to have to save through a version. Fei Xiao I don't think I'll need. And Lingsha, she interests me. But I don't think I'd be able to pull even if she does something fantastic. So, unfortunately, skip. Someday, maybe, just not on update. I've fixed my Acheron team pretty much. I have no complaints.